Okay, so this is the second part of 2.2. We're going to keep working with literal equations, and we're going to do some graphing on the calculator as well. So notice what it asks us to do. For each of the following, solve for y, then graph using a graphing calculator. What do you notice about the graphs of the first four? What do you notice about the last two? So we're going to solve this first equation for y. Okay. So we're going to subtract 4x from both sides. We have a negative y equals negative 4x plus 1, and I'm going to leave them in that order. I can't put the 1 and the negative 4x together because they are not alike. Then I'm going to either divide both sides by negative 1 or multiply both sides by negative 1 because it's the same operation. So if we divide both sides by negative 1, well, let's multiply. So let's multiply both sides by negative 1. So negative 1 times negative y is y. On the right-hand side, I have to multiply both terms by, let me put a parenthesis in there, by negative 1. So I get 4x minus 1. Okay? So if we multiply both sides by negative 1, we come up with y equals 4x minus 1. Now this shouldn't look completely foreign because we have solved equations for y before when we were working with lines. This is y equals mx plus b. This should be the equation of a line, but let's do it on the calculator. So let me show you how to graph on the calculator. So we're going to push the y equals button, and we're going to type in 4 and x. Notice where the x is at. It's the key right next to the green one. It has x, t, theta, n. If the memory's been cleared, it should just type in x when I push that key. And then I'm going to subtract 1. Okay, so I've typed in y equals 4x minus 1. Don't worry about the subscript 1. It just allows me to graph several things all at once. So then I'm going to push the graph button, and it's going to graph the line for me. So notice it's a line. Okay, I'm going to go back to my notes. That y-intercept is negative 1, and the slope is 4. The slope of 4 over 1, so we go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 1. And we'll just draw a line. Okay, let's do the second one. So again, solving for y. So we're going to subtract an x from both sides. We're going to have 3y equals negative x minus 9. Again, we cannot put the negative x and the negative 9 together because they're not alike. We can either divide by 3, or if you want, we can multiply by 1/3. But if I divide by 3, I really can split it up and divide each piece by 3. Multiplying by 1/3, you can distribute the 1/3, but what we get is this equation. Okay, and if we go back to our calculator and we graph that, I'm going to clear out the one I had. So I'm going to clear out the one I have and push the y equals again. Okay, let me show you again. So we push the y equals, clear out what's there, and type in the new one. So I'm going to do 1/3. I'm going to put it in parentheses. So there's my 1/3 times x, push the x, and then, was it minus 3? Yes, it was minus 3. Okay, so I'm typing that in, I'm pushing the graph button, and it shows me a line. Well, we should get a line because it's y equals mx plus b. So notice where our y-intercept is. It's negative 3. Slope is rise over run, so if I go down 1 and right 3, so that negative 1/3, like that. Down 1, right 3. So that's a down 1, right 3. And we get this line. Let me make it a little bit straighter. Okay, so our graph is a line for that one. Y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to have you pause the video and try doing the next one on your own, and then come back. Okay, so when you solve for y, you get y equals 3/2 x plus 5. The y-intercept is 5. And again, you can graph it on the calculator and you will get that same line. Okay, the next one, y equals -2. There's no solving to do. I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm going to graph y equals -2. So I'm going to go to my y equals. I'm going to clear out what I have. So just push the clear button. I'm going to type in -2, not the subtraction sign, but the negative button. Right? Let me show you again. -2. Oops. Let me go up. So negative and 2. I'm going to graph it. Oh, I get a horizontal line. Y equals -2. The y is stuck at -2. And hopefully that looks familiar as well. Y equals -2 is a horizontal line. How do we graph that? We go down on the y-axis to -2. We put a point there, and we stay stuck at -2 because no matter what x is, the y is stuck at -2. So we have that line right there. Okay. And the last two. I think for this one, we need to move all of these things to get the y by itself. So if we make all those movements, we have y equals -x squared plus 2x plus 3. And I'm going to show you how to type that into the calculator. So I'm going to go to my y equals, and I'm going to type in -x squared. So there's my -x. There's the square button. Plus 2x plus 3. And I'm going to graph it. And there it is. And we're just going to do a rough sketch on here. So let's see. Let me go back to my calculator for a second. Okay. We have a shape that looks like this. That is really rough. It actually goes a little higher than that because it goes through the y-axis at 3. When x is 0, y is 3. Okay? It does go through at 3. So we'll draw it. But we get this kind of U shape. But it's upside down. And we're going to be graphing a lot of those later on. So I'm going to do the last one. I'm going to solve for y by adding 2x squared and subtracting 12x from both sides. So add a 2x squared over here and subtract a 12x over here. So we get 4y equals, 2x squared. So add a 2x squared, those go away. Those go away when I subtract 12x. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the same to the other, right? So I get 4y equals 2x squared minus 12x. I'm going to multiply both sides by 1/4 because 1/4 times 4 will be 1. So I'm going to multiply this side by 1/4 as well. So I have y equals 2 times 1/4 is a half. 12 times 1/4 is 3. So we get this equation. We're going to go ahead and graph that really quick. We're going to go y equals, we're going to clear that one out, and we're going to do 0.5, which is my 1/2. And then I'm going to do minus 3x, and I'm going to graph that. Oh, now I have a U shape that is going upward. All right. Let's see, it goes through the origin, because when x is 0, y is 0. But it looks a little different. My other one is going up. I just want a rough sketches. So what we notice, The first four were lines, but the last two are these U shapes, and that's what we're going to be studying this year. These guys are called parabolas, and we're going to graph lots of them this year. And that's the end of our video.